You're listening to the UKC Hunting Ops Podcast, celebrating hunting dog heritage, competition, and community. United Kennel Club has been the hunting dog sports home for coonhounds, beagles, retrievers, pointers, cur, feist, and more for over 125 years.
Welcome back to the UKC Hunting Ops Podcast. This is Trevor Wade. I'm the Coonhound Program Manager at UKC, and I'm joined today by Alan Gingrich, the Director of Hunting Ops. What's going on, Alan?
Well, we're here today. I had the day off yesterday, and it's always nice to take a little break, but it's been a busy day. This is Friday here, and we normally record on a Tuesday, but we had some scheduling conflicts for next Tuesday. I guess you're going to take the whole week off next week, so
yeah, I'm excited for next week, but it's the week after that I'm worried about. Anytime you take any time off, that it makes your job a lot harder. But No, I'm excited. We're going to get some rest and relaxation, I guess, before a crazy September comes.
Hey, and that's good for you, too. You've been on the road a lot this summer with all the breed day hunts, and now the Youth Nationals is done, so it's good that you can take a week off. And said you were going to go down south, right?
Yeah, we got a couple different plans. We're going to go down to the beach for a few days down in Florida. And then we're going to go up to Tennessee and see some family, and I don't know, we'll do some stuff, hunting and fishing and everything else. So.
Good for you. Good for you. You got to do that.
That's right. Yeah. Well, today we're talking, dang it, I think I brought the wrong notes down here. This says Autumn Oaks. There's no way that's right, is it?
That's what mine says, too.
I feel like we just got done with Autumn Oaks, but here we are again. But we're going to be talking Autumn Oaks to start out this episode. We're going to give you all the particulars. This is dropping. You're going to have to get entered here in a couple of days by the time you listen to this, if it hasn't already passed. And
yeah, seems like we just got done with the Winter Classic.
Yeah,
and the TOC, and it's just
But and then after this, we're going to be talking about. It's a little spoiler alert. We're going to be talking about our most active Master of Hounds and bench show judges. So I'm kind of excited for today's episode. It's going to be a little interesting.
Yeah, that'll be something different. We've never done since I've been here, really. We've talked about some of our top clubs and things like that, but when you brought up the idea about officials, talk about, kind of doing a rundown and seeing how many events some of our officials have done, be it shows or Master Hounds, great idea. So yeah, you've compiled some information. It's pretty cool to see some of those guys that have had the most assignments.
Absolutely. Well, hey, Autumn Oaks, we're here. We're just a few weeks away now. Labor Day weekend is on the horizon, and this year those dates fall. I have on here August 29th. That's the Tuesday where the Slam Series starts through September 3rd, and that's the day that we'll be handing out our hunt awards on that Sunday morning. So we'll be here before you know it. As it has been for the past 20 plus years. It's going to be in the Wayne County Fairgrounds. And that's in Richmond, Indiana, 861 Salisbury Road. I think most cooners probably have that address memorized by now.
Yeah, and it's nice too because it's right off the Interstate 70, and between that and Route 40, good byways right there and easy for a lot of people to get to if you're traveling. And we have a lot of folks traveling in for that one, probably more than any other event in the country.
That's right.
The granddaddy event right here.
Yeah, it's exciting. Like we talk about all the time, it's a year-long thing getting ready for it, and we've been making preparations for it for a while now. Working on, we have hunt and show entries coming in right now as we speak up there. They're chipping away at them. We've been getting calls and emails and everything else with questions, and we got vendors and food vendors rolling in. So it's all happening pretty quick here.
You mentioned vendors. We don't have as many vendors as we did years ago. Maybe a lot of things have changed with the advent of internet sales and things like that. But this year looks like we're going to have more vendors than we've had in the last several years.
A lot of new names on there.
A couple new ones. Yep. Yeah. So that list is looking pretty good. So have a good group of vendors there. It's going to be full again this year, I think.
Yeah, so there's going to be something for everybody there. We got the night hunts going on, the bench show. We got the National Dual Championship on Thursday and Friday. We have the Yoder Nylon Razor Slam Series. I guess we can go ahead and shout them out for that, for sponsoring our Slam Series on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night, which we'll go into more detail on. We got a confirmation show on Thursday for the folks that are interested in that. Coonhound Specialty Confirmation Show. Kids show on Saturday that's non-licensed, just for fun, just for get the kids out there, take some pictures and get a ribbon. And like you said, if you don't want to do any of those things, just come shop and get some food and enjoy the crowd.
Yep, like a huge reunion.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So the one thing folks always want to know is what day they can get in on the grounds.
Yeah. So we always open the gate, or I say we, the club is usually there, I guess, on Sunday afternoonish, probably.
I think around noon on Saturday, actually.
On Saturday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or is it Sunday?
Sunday, I'm thinking.
Boy, we should get this right, Trevor. That's kind of important.
Yeah. I'm thinking it's Sunday.
Yeah, it is Sunday.
Sunday
It
afternoon.
Is Sunday. It is
And
Sunday.
yeah, as far as if you're going to pull your camper in there and try to get a spot, those first few nights the club are in charge of it, and they're going to be charging you for it. And I talked to Chase Blevins with the club. It's going to be $30 a night. And that's for Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday nights. When we get into the Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, those nights are free of charge, but you will have to pay for those first few nights.
Yeah.
And there's no holds. There's no reason to call the Wayne County Fairgrounds and stress them out. There's no holding or reserving spots. It's first come, first serve. And I think me and you are actually going to be there on Sunday, hopefully before the gates open, or one of us or both of us are going to be there to tape off our. Can't have you where our vendors and food vendors are going to be. Don't think you're going to be up front and center. That's reserved for the people in there selling and stuff. But
yeah. And some folks will bring their campers in there just to get a primo spot, I guess, maybe closer to some of the headquarters buildings, and that's fine too, but they're still going to charge you for each day, even if you're not there in person.
Yeah. So let's kind of go through the events a little bit now that we're here. Let's go through the night hunt first and talk about it a little bit. The advanced entry deadline for everything is going to be August 11th, that Friday. Online entries will close at midnight that night Eastern Standard Time, so be sure you give yourself plenty of time in case your computer dies or you run out of service or something happens. Don't be surprised if something happens. It's a $40 pre-entry fee for the hunt. You can do it online. You can call into the hunting ops department during work hours, and we can enter you online easily as long as you have a credit card ready. Over the past few years, we have started taking walk-up entries there at the grounds. That's based on guide availability, and we've cut it close a couple times. So better safe than sorry. If you don't get pre-entered, then hopefully you're there pretty early on, because that walk-up line can get pretty lengthy sometimes. And that is going to be an additional $20 fee, so $60 entry fee total for walk-up entries.
Mm-hmm.
The hunt format, it's a little bit different than any other hunt that we have of the year, or any other hunt really UKC offers during the year, in which it's one hunt ran over 2 nights. So that can be confusing to some folks who have never been there. You can only enter your dog one time for the weekend. Whether it's Friday or Saturday, you get to choose. Because it's Saturday night's just a continuation of night one. And combined, we'll put the scores together and all that to get our winners. But if you're hunting a Grand Night Champion, which is kind of the name of the game here at Autumn Oaks, you got to be sure to enter on Friday night, because we do have the Grand 16 on Saturday, which we will talk about in just a second. But
all the Grands hunt on Friday. We don't hunt any Grands on Saturday, and other than the Grand 16.
That's right. Every hunt here is going to be 2 hours on the Friday, Saturday night of Autumn Oaks. And this is one of the few in the year where we do separate all 3 categories. The registered dogs will hunt against the registered dogs, night champions will hunt against each other, and then the Grand Nights will be their own separate category. And when you enter, you have a chance to hunt out of 4 different places. You can either hunt off the grounds, which a bulk of the cast will do. We also have 3 really good satellite clubs that are well established and have been doing the Autumn Oaks thing for a long time, and that's the Limberlost Coon Hunters in Bryan, Indiana, Shelby County Sportsman's Club in Shelbyville, Indiana, and then the Van Wert County Coon Hunters Association in Convoy, Ohio.
Yeah, and those clubs have all helped us for a good number of years now. And but just because you don't get to pick which club you go to unless you are actually guiding your cast, if you're down to guide or whatever. Otherwise, you just go in the draw. You don't get to select which club you'd prefer to go to. That's going to be just how the draw turns out. So, yeah.
So let's talk about the Grand 16 a little bit. First off, we want to give a shout out to our sponsor for that event. It's been Yoder Boots for the past, I don't know, as long as I've been here, and maybe before that, but they've kind of partnered with Razor a little bit. But this year they've put together quite a nice little prize package for everybody who gets in the Grand 16.
Yeah, in the past they always gave a new pair of boots for everybody that made the Grand 16, but yeah, they're going to up it this year. Razor is going to give a vest.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big deal.
Yeah,
that's
get a
like
pair
an $85 value right there.
Yeah,
and a nice one too.
In addition to your trophy, you're going to get a pair of Yoder boots, a Razor vest, and they're also donating a no spill dog bowl as well. So kind of a nice little package there for all 16 of those folks. And
absolutely,
make sure that we show Yoder and Johnny Watkins our appreciation for sponsoring the Grand 16.
Yeah.
The people who make the Grand 16, we're going to take the top 16 high scoring plus point cast winners from the Grand Night division on Friday night, and they're going to advance to Saturday night's Grand 16. Grand 16 will happen Saturday night. It's going to be 2 rounds essentially. 90-minute cast where you're going to have non-hunting guides and judges. This is nothing new. The Grand 16's been around since the early 2010s now, maybe 2010, 2011. And it's worked out perfect. I think it's added a whole new intrigue to this hunt and made it different than everywhere else. And you can probably speak to that some, just how it's changed the perception of the hunt, where you don't feel like you have to have 1,200 plus. Usually a pretty a couple 2-3 coons and staying out of trouble can usually get you into this thing.
Yeah, one thing that's going to be different now for this year is going to be 2 rounds in the Grand 16. The early round and the late round, but it will be ran under the full elimination format there.
Yeah. So no more dead casts or having to worry about not having a final cast late. As long as we have as nothing catastrophic happens, we'll advance a winner.
Yeah.
So basically, like we said, round 1 we'll have 4 dog casts for our 16 dogs, and then we'll have a final cast late on Saturday night that we will go and determine the national grand night champion, and that'll be the kind of the end of the hunt there. And we do our awards on Sunday morning. Obviously, we'll know who the national grand night champion is headed into the awards. It's hard to keep that a secret. We also do a play-by-play on our forums on late on Saturday night. But we'll do our award ceremony on Sunday morning. I think 9 a.m.
It is
the
9.
awards.
Yep.
And there's something for, make sure you're checking our website, because we do try to post it as soon as we can on our website and our social media platforms with the cutoff scores. And hopefully you're there. If you get an award, I'd like to get you there, get your awards to you, take your picture and all that good stuff, and give you the recognition you deserve. But we'll be awarding registered 1st through 10th, a night champion 1st through 5th, and then of course we'll have our national grand night champion and our 7 national grand night champions of breed awarded that morning. Yeah,
the top 16. We don't actually post the scores of any of the registered or the night champions for that matter. Now the grands, we will have that posted on Saturday morning, who all was in the top 16, and that is also without scores. And the reason we don't post scores is because those dogs everybody is competing for top male and top female of breed by their breed associations. So we wouldn't want to put scores out there on Friday or from Friday night for those to shoot for Saturday, and just to kind of help protect the integrity of all scores and such. So that's why we don't post the scores. But we will post those top 16 on Saturday morning, so they will know who they are. But other than that, no scores until after the event is over on Saturday.
Right.
Then we'll go back and post all the scores.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned a little bit high scoring dogs association. Usually quite a few of them are there, but kind of keep that in mind. Before you head out, you can come and get you some prizes for that and be recognized in front of your peers for that as well.
Yeah, and you want to make sure you are a member of your association. You have to be a member before you're eligible for their high scoring dog awards. So you'll want to do that Friday before you go out to hunt.
Yeah. And real quick,
they'll all be there at Autumn Oaks.
Right. Yep, that's right. I just want to give a shout out to our Master of Hounds for the event real quick. Off the grounds, we're going to have Doug Cundiff in Shelbyville, Tim Gilchrist out of Iowa, and Bryant's going to be Jamie Estep from West Virginia. And then in working convoy this year in his first Autumn Oaks is going to be Brandon Scow from Kentucky.
There you go. Yeah, be a good crew.
Yep. And then Mr. Wendell Bond, one of our field reps, going to be patrolling the grounds all weekend, making sure dogs got water and shade and are well taken care of and taking care of anything else. So
yeah.
Don't cross him. He's a big fella. He'll get you shaped up.
Yeah, for sure. We have the prize list. We kind of finished that up here this week. You and I kind of proved what it was, and we have one of the best ones we've ever had. Pretty tickled about it. Just if we have time here, sure. I'd like to admit that for the overall grand, for instance, this year, one thing that's a new item they're going to get in their package, they're going to get a dog box with a light. I guess light. I don't know where you have it here. You made note here somewhere.
They're not getting a light, but they're going to get, like you said, an Owens dog box, a Dog Trip Pathfinder 2, and I think the newest thing that you were K-Light. Instead of giving a light, they're giving a thermal.
That's
monocular,
it. Yep. So a new thermal. So yeah, that's pretty cool.
Pretty good, and there's really good prizes for all. All the first places are getting a new dog box. It's like night champion first place, registered first place are getting new Owens dog boxes. There's a lot of gift certificates, and if you get recognized here, registered 1st through 10th, night champion 1st through 5th, or you're getting a light, I think that's pretty good for that placement. And then there's a lot of good stuff going to be handed out that weekend. Well, let's talk about our national dual championship a little bit.
That's been a fun event. Now I don't know, we've had 4 or 5 of those now?
Yeah, and this is what starts on Thursday, August 31st. It'll be kind of the main event on Thursday for our hunt crowd. We have the slam going on, but that's down the road, so we'll be We'll be there in the Coleman Center taking entries from 5 to 6 for the National Dual Championship, so you can confirm your entry, or if you didn't get in before the event entry deadline, or if we haven't hit our 100-dog cap, we'll be taking walk-ups from 5 to 6 that day. Like with the other one, the deadline to pre-enter for it's going to be August 11th. Unless we hit the 100 dogs, which is, that's a lot of dogs. But it's a $40 entry fee if you enter before the pre-entry deadline. If you do day of hunt walk-up entries, it's going to be a $60 entry fee until we hit that 100-dog cap.
Yeah, and what makes a dog eligible to compete in this one? That's always the question.
Right. Water champion, field champion, HTX titles, none of that's taken into consideration here. What the National Dual Champion's worried about is at minimum a show title and a hunt title,
right.
Minimum show champion, night champion,
right,
or higher. So,
yep.
And this is we should mention our presenting sponsor for the National Dual Championship, and she has been for a while now. Sandra Hintz with K-Lights has been a presenting sponsor for the National Dual Championship for the past 5 or 6 years, and we sure appreciate Sandra's contribution to the Dual Championship. Format of it, we're going to start out with the night hunt on Thursday, like we said, and you draw. What's cool about it is I like how it's set up. You draw out against your own breed in that first round on Thursday in the night hunt portion of it. So you're going to hunt only against dogs of your own breed, 90-minute casts, and you have to have a plus. You have to be a plus point cast winner to move on to the show portion of the hunt or of the event.
Yeah.
And the show will be the next day. It's going to be Friday, September 1st, over in the Expo Center. It used to be called the Raper Center, but it's since been changed to the Expo Center. And it says it's going to be at noon or immediately following the registered classes, whichever is later. So as long as you're there by noon, you're not going to miss it. So it's a good deal. Once you get into the show portion of it, all plus point cast winners are going to show against their own breed, so other plus point cast winners in their own breed. And those 7 breed winners are going to be brought back to show for the crown of overall national dual champion. And one thing that we get asked a lot, the same handler is not required for both the hunt and the show. It can be 2 different handlers for that.
Right.
A lot of good awards here. Like we said, it's sponsored by K-Light, so the winner's going to get K-Light, a Dog Trip Pathfinder 2 gift certificate, and some dog food from Eukanuba. And also, I think the most coveted item there is probably that National Dual Champion degree that's put right there on the front of the dog's name.
Right.
And the other breed winners, like we said, all get K-Lights, they all get Tier 1 Squaller and some Eukanuba dog food as well. So there's a lot of good awards for that, and I like seeing the dual purpose hounds. UKC's kind of built on that philosophy that a dual hound, a dog that's active and does its job outside of just being a good conformation. So.
Yeah, and everybody on Thursday that hunts there, they will hunt off the grounds there at Wayne County Fairgrounds. They won't be sent to any satellite clubs or anything like that. Everybody will hunt right there.
Absolutely. Well, I guess we'll move on to the next event of the weekend. That's the bench show.
It's always a big deal, too, at Autumn Oaks.
Very
biggest one in the country for Coonhounds.
Absolutely.
Right here. Bigger than the World Show.
Always very, very competitive. And this year will be no different, I'm sure. We've mentioned a few times already. I'm just going to nail it in here. August 11th is the pre-entry deadline. $25 advance entry fee for this one. We do take walk-up entries at the event. To be $30 on the day of show entries. And there's a schedule out there on the ad. We take there's different times throughout the week that we take you can confirm your pre-entry or walk-up enter. I wrote down some times here from the ad that we have. Wednesday afternoon from 3:30 to 4:30, Thursday morning from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., and then Friday and Saturday 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. depending on what day you're showing. And during that time, if you have any changes to make, or if your dog were at a champion or a grand champion since between the time that you enter and the show happens, you can do move ups at that time as well. So, crate permits. All dogs crating inside must have a crate permit, and those buildings get locked at 5 p.m. sharp. So you need to have your dogs out of there by 5 p.m. Pretty simple.
It is. It seems every year we have a couple dogs that get left in there after that 5 p.m. Maybe somebody leaves the grounds or whatever, went to eat somewhere or whatever, and just left their dogs in there. They need to take them with them and be responsible for their dogs, because if they don't, they might not be able to get a crating permit again.
Right.
So yeah, at 5 p.m., there's a lot of other folks that need to move on and everything else, so for us to have to try to find out who the owners are of these dogs, just be responsible for your dogs and have them out of there before that time. We'll make some announcements there, but Unfortunately, seems like there's always a couple, and guess who always gets to work that or have to deal with that at the end of the day?
Seems
Might
like a
have to
good
turn
job.
it over to you.
Yeah, yeah, we get hungry too.
Yeah. And we
But
have a lot of other things to do as well.
absolutely. Absolutely. Well, the show is like the hunt. It's one show ran over 2 days. One of the few events in the year where a show takes 2 days here, but it's a lot of dogs, like we said. On Friday is going to be our registered show, and then following the registered, like we talked about earlier, our dual champions from the cast winners from the night before the national dual championship will show after that. Saturday's show start out with the champion class starting it off. Then we're going to have the like a little intermission in between the kids bench show. Have your kids there; they can come in, show your dog. There'll be staff and other people walking around, probably asking them questions and giving them ribbons, and it's a good photo op and get out there in front of everybody and show
Yeah.
off. Pretty cool deal.
There's no entry fee for it, obviously, and you don't need to sign up for it anything like that. Just have your dog ready when they call you, and and that's all you need to do. It's a
Right.
fun little deal. Yeah.
And then the main event will be after the kids bench show. The grand champions will come in and they'll be vying for that title of the national grand champion.
Yeah, that's always a big part of Autumn Oaks, the grand portion of the show.
Yeah. Talk about the format of how they do that a little bit. The first thing they'll do is they'll be competing against their own breed and sex. So we'll pick a black and tan male winner and a black and tan female winner and a leopard male winner, leopard. And once we get our 14 breed winners, we'll bring back the two breed winners, male and female, to go against each other. So you bring back your black and tan male winner, your black and tan female winner, and pick an overall black and tan. You'll do that for all 7 breeds. Put them in there, and you're going to pick your national grand champion from those 7. If a male wins it, then you'll bring back the 7 females and pick a opposite sex. If a female wins it, you'll bring back the 7 males and pick an opposite sex that way. So it's a little bit different, but I think you pick the best dog and the opposite sex that way.
Yeah, and it's a big deal just to win your breed, be it male or female. But yeah, it's a fun deal.
And as always, we got a couple of first class judges for this weekend in Autumn Oaks. Eric Brooks of Pounding Mill, Virginia is going to be the one of them, and then Danielle Champ of Ivydale, West Virginia.
Yeah, both will be first timers at Autumn Oaks. I can hardly spit it out here, but yeah, first time doing this show. They've done a lot of other major shows, but they'll be doing a good job.
Well respected people in the
both of
breed,
them,
and
right?
both have a lot of good dog knowledge. Like you said, they've judged a lot of big shows.
Yeah.
So excited to see them there. We like we said, we have a lot of good awards. Our overall show winners are gonna, besides their national grand show champion title, they get a Diamond Deluxe dog box, a gift certificate, and some Eukanuba dog food. Opposite sex is going to get a Rufflin kennel and some Eukanuba dog food along with the gift certificate, and all the category winners are going to get something. Be a lot of ribbons and different things over there for class and breed winners as well. So it's going to be a fun show. There's always a lot of good dogs there, and just come bring your dog out and see how you stack up.
Yeah. You're not going to see a bigger group of nicer dogs than you will at Autumn Oaks.
Right. And
There's a lot of them.
That show ring's always decked out. I don't know. It's just when you walk into the expo center during the show, it just feels like a big deal, and it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I love about it. Let's talk about the Slam Series a little bit. Kind of previewed this a little bit, but we have a new presenting sponsor this year, and that's Marty Yoder with the Yoder Nylon.
Yeah.
And I think he's partnered with Razor and Johnny Watkins and those guys. So they're going to be presenting sponsor, and they're going to be donating the $2,000 in added money over the week for the Super Slam Series, for the Slam Series, I should say. It's Tuesday through Thursday night, so 3 night events. 500 of that will be each night, be added purse for our final 4 of each night. And then we also have $500 that'll be awarded to our overall Slam Series winner that we'll be recognizing on Friday during opening ceremonies. So that's where our $2,000 come from. Starts out in Tuesday, Liberty, Indiana, at the Hannah's Creek Conservation Club. And, man, every year they just see an uptick in entries, but they keep getting dogs in the woods.
Yeah.
So we appreciate the whole crowd there at Liberty and Hannah's Creek for doing that. And then Wednesday and Thursday is going to be in Selma, Indiana, at the Delaware County Coon Club. They have Wednesday and Thursday night. All 3 of the slams have a 9 p.m. deadline, $35 entry fee, and they're 1-hour hunts. And the Master of Hounds this year, once again, going to be our field rep, Jamie Eastad from Elkins, West Virginia. He's coming over there early that week to help us out, and is going to be the Master Hounds for the Slam Series this year.
Yeah, so they're going to enter, go right to the club, and we have directions on our website for each one of those clubs. Liberty on Tuesday, and then Selma, Delaware County Coonhunters on Wednesday and Thursday. But you go to those clubs to enter. Don't enter at the Wayne County Fairgrounds.
Yeah, it's kind of a good deal, and we've talked about it before, but um, people are going to get there early. They always do for this event. You don't want to buy a hunting license, but you definitely want to get a ticket or to tarnish this event or the perception of this event in the eyes of the state or the local DNR. So you have the opportunity to go over to the slam hunt, stretch your legs out, stretch your dog's legs a little bit out, and if you were luck up and get in the Final Four, you can almost pay for your trip. That's some big money being passed around that weekend.
Yeah, you mentioned the overall winner is going to get that $500 bonus out of that $2,000. And the way to win that, and that's going to be as simple as the dog that has the most cast wins at those 3 nights of slam hunts.
Absolutely.
Well, and generally, we have end up with a couple dogs that have cast wins all 3 nights, usually.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So,
also on Thursday, we'll mention the Confirmation Show real quick. Confirmation Coonhound Specialty Show. It's going to be Thursday. They're in the Expo Center. And I think they're taking entries from 9 to 10 a.m. They also have some pre-entries open. Show plans to start at 10:30 a.m. And the judges this year are Stephen Melgreen and Diana Brumbo. So that's a good extra wrinkle for any of the show folks coming in. Give them double the opportunity. We've talked about camping a little bit, but let's talk about dog barns. Also, something you can't call us and reserve a spot in the dog barn either. It's first come, first serve. And we just got to if you're going to be out there, just be cognizant of what's going on. Take care of your dogs. Make sure they have water. Make sure they're out of the sun, and they can, if it's hot, keep them out of the sun in the shade, and just make sure that there's some supervision. Check on them often, and no dogs to be left overnight was another thing that's included in our ad there. Just take care of them. Only UKC registered dogs allowed on the grounds. Not just an open show for everybody to bring their own dog and walk around. And just make sure you clean up after your dogs and yourself. I think that's a big key component of it. Golf carts. You know Miss Sherry better than I do, but you've kind of got that information out there on our forums. Been on there for the past few weeks. You've talked to Sherry, right?
I have, yep. And her information is on the forum. You've got it listed here, her phone number and everything. But that's who you need to contact to get your golf cart rented and reserved.
Yeah,
and you'll pick it up there.
Yeah, if you're interested in a golf cart, you can reach Sherry at 608-799-1525.
That's it.
Want to go through our sponsors real quick. We talked a little bit about our prize list. Of course, there's a lot more to it, and it was not possible without our sponsors. So I want to give them a little bit of airtime here and mention them. Bright Eyes Lights, Kelly's K-Light, Mule Brand Hunting Gear, GT's Feed and Supply, Okie Dog Supply, Night Light Company, Yoder Nylon, Owens Products, Tier 1 Custom Calls, Diamond Deluxe Kennels, Crystal Lights, Briar Creek Kennels, and of course our 2 partners, Eukanuba, the official performance dog nutrition partner, and Dogtra Pathfinder, the official GPS collar partner.
Yeah, appreciate every one of them. It's if it weren't for all these sponsors, Autumn Oaks couldn't be what it is without them. So yeah, appreciate all of them.
Alan, we both had Dogtra Pathfinder 2s now for a little while. What do you think about yours?
I'm liking mine. One of the things I had the opportunity to now download a map of an area where I did not have service, and I've used it there, and it has worked flawlessly. I love it.
Yeah, I love the crystal clear maps. I love that I never lose reception on my dog's collars anymore. Highly recommended by me as well. Dogtra Pathfinder 2, the official GPS collar partner of UKC. Alrighty, let's shift gears a little bit. Let's talk about some of our most active, and we're going to start with our Master of Hounds. And I would have liked to pull numbers for the whole history of the company, but I'll tell you, I pulled numbers from January 1st, 2021 till June 30th of 2023, and it took me forever to compile these lists, so I would hate to know if I had any additional than that, but sorting through it and combining and doing all that kind of stuff was tedious, and I know it's not going to be just a perfect representation, but at least it kind of lets us know actively, of active officials, who's the most out there.
Yeah, and we use the clubs can use the hunt director format now, so we have a lot of clubs using that format instead of a master hounds. But there's still clubs using the master hounds, and we always say that's still the best route to take. A good licensed official is hard to beat as far as your official for an event. But back in the day, I really like to see how this compares to, like 10, 15 years ago.
Sure.
I am shocked at some of the number of events some of these guys are still doing in a year's time, or over the course of the last couple of years.
Yeah.
But I think it speaks for theirs. Back in the day, there were some guys that did a whole lot of them,
I can't imagine.
I know.
Someone like David Garden or
that's what I was, I wanted to make
like
sure to give David Garden a shout out, because for a lot of years we used to always say David Garden without having pulled the information, to really see where he stood. But he just had to be one of those guys that was weekend after weekend after weekend. He was somewhere acting or serving as a master hounds.
Yeah.
David Garden from Norwood, North Carolina. He was a field rep for a long time for us, and just one of those guys that probably did more master hounds than I would bet. He did more master hounds assignments than anybody else in the country.
Yeah.
But he's not going to be on our list, I don't think, from the last couple of years. He's had some health issues, and that's why. But I'd say he probably still is up there at the top as far as the history of officials go.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like I said, I would have liked to have the whole history of the event. I know there's a lot of people out there that deserve recognition for all that they've done, and they volunteered a lot of their time and resources to be out there and work the scene, and they don't get recognized nearly enough. But I hope that we can start. This can probably come in like a yearly thing where we talk about our most used master hounds and bench show judges and give them the props that they deserve.
Yeah.
So just looking at the past 30 months, like I said, January 2021 through just June of 2023, we're halfway through the year here. This was surprising to me. This person had 98 assignments in that 30-month span, and that's Mr. Bobby McCarty of Maud, Texas.
Yeah.
Wow, 98.
Bobby is, I'd only be guessing to his age, but he's obviously an older gentleman, has been around forever and ever. I would think he's one of those few that are still active that have a 3-digit license number. 324 is his license number.
Yeah.
So he has been around forever, but still being active like this and at the top of our list, that's plausible right there.
Crazy.
And I'm glad you pulled this up, because I think sometimes we just kind of forget about some of our officials like this that put this much time and effort, that have been a part of our sport for this long and done this much and still do. Bobby is a good example of this. What'd you say? 98 assignments
98
in the last
assignments.
30 months?
Yeah.
Crazy. He was at the top of this list here, according to your notes, in 2021 with a total of 44 just in that year alone. Last year in 2022, 43, top of the list. And just
11 already this year.
Yeah,
so.
already did 11 this year. Talking about master hounds are crazy.
Second on the list here is a guy.
Thank you, Bobby. Thank you, Bobby McCarty, Maud, Texas.
If you're in Texas,
yeah,
you give Bobby a shout out.
Yeah,
for
a lot of folks outside, or some folks a lot of folks outside of Texas might not know Bobby, but I guarantee most people in Texas know who Bobby McCarty is.
He must be. I hate to go on a tangent here, but if you're in Texas, you do 98 assignments. I mean, really, how many active clubs do we have in the state of Texas?
I know.
He has to be driving just hundreds of miles.
All of them.
He must have a helicopter going from event to event.
Maybe.
Wow, it's incredible.
If he doesn't, he should.
He should, yeah.
Crop duster or something.
They should get him something, shouldn't they?
Yeah.
I was going to say the next one here, I have gotten to know pretty well over the past few years from down in Northeast Tennessee, and that's Ron Stroud. He lives there in Whitesburg, Tennessee. 64 assignments over the past 30 months for Ron. Aside from being a master of hounds, he's also the president of the Hawkins County Coon Hunters Club there in Rogersville and the president of the Tennessee State Association. So he's dedicated to coon hunting, that's for sure.
He is, and clubs in his state and coon hunting in general. Mr. Ron Stroud, I've got to know him ever since I've been here. You're not going to find a nicer guy than Ron, and just a good, straight, honest guy. And he is, he's the epitome of an official, and somebody that you can trust, count on, and he's just done so much for the sport. And one of them, he's a good example of what I talked about a little bit ago, that we just tend to kind of take some of these folks for granted, what they have done. But Ron Stroud's right up there.
That's right. Ron, he was fourth in 2021 with 22 assignments, second in 2022 with 26 assignments, and he's leading the way this year with 16 already at the halfway point. So
Yeah.
he may blow by some of these
Yeah.
old numbers that he had. But
Yeah, so thank you, Ron Stroud, for everything you've done and continue to do in the sport.
next on our list here is another one. This one here from Southeast Tennessee. It says James Mowry. I know him by Manuel down there. He's from Georgetown, Tennessee, around the Birchwood Coon Club area.
Okay.
You're probably familiar with that.
I am Birchwood, but I am not familiar with Mr. Mowry. So
Yeah, Manuel. He has done 52 assignments in the past 30 months. Tied for second in 2021 with 27 assignments. He did 12 assignments in 2022, and he's tied for second this year already with 13 assignments in 2023 so far. So I want to think one of the first events I ever went to was at a club in Wartburg, and I think Mr. Manuel was Master of Hounds that night, and looks like he hadn't slowed down since. So I appreciate Manuel for all his work, and he's does a lot of bench shows as well. So he's a key part to that area and officiating a lot of those events. So thank you, Manuel, for all your hard work. Next one here is Barry Gunnell of Portland, Indiana. 50 assignments over the past 30 nights for Barry. In 2021, he was tied for 12th on the list with 17. He was 6th in 2022 with 20 assignments. And this year, he's racking them up, tied for second already with 13.
yeah, Barry that's somebody that we know from Portland, Indiana. There, we mentioned their club is helping us out, Limberlost Coon Hunters Club. They're in Bryant. That's the club that he belongs to. But he's just been one of those guys, been very active. Now, he is a little bit younger than, say Bobby McCarty and some of these other guys. But he's one of those guys that is in more recent years has really been had a lot of assignments.
Right.
Does a great job.
Yeah. A lot of times you talked about Limberlost, and that's when I think of top clubs, coonhound clubs, just in our sport.
Yeah.
I think of Limberlost, and a lot of times my mind may go towards like the guys who are hunting and judging and guiding and stuff. But there's always a Barry Gunnell in the back who's officiating these events and doing those sort of things, and the backbone of those clubs.
Yeah.
When you can count on someone being there for you.
It's guys like Barry Gunnell that have kind of stepped up and taken the place of other guys that used to be, did a lot too in years past. That's why I wish we would have done more of this back in the past, to kind of recognize some of these guys. Rich Emery comes to mind. He is not quite as active as he used to be at one time, but he is another guy that I know he might not be on our list, but he's definitely worth mentioning there. He used to do a whole lot of them in the area, not just at their own club, but in that general region.
Now he's having to follow Janet to all those confirmation shows.
Yeah, that or turkey hunting,
Right. This next one here is a name that I bet a lot of people thought we would mention when we talked about this, and that's Max Summerlin of Norwood, North Carolina. 49 assignments for Max.
49, yeah, 49, and that's just blows my mind. Max is one of those he was a UKC field rep for a long, long time. A lot of people know Max. He is a very distinguished gentleman, and this guy's got 9 lives. I'm telling you, I cannot believe that he is even still here, but he's still active, still doing it. I'm not sure,
we just hired Alan Roberts we brought Alan Roberts on as a field rep again from there in Tennessee, and he was an old field rep back in the Todd Kellum days, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
before me,
Max was a master of hound or a field rep then as well, and it was at Southeastern Walker days, and Max he was actually the master of hounds there. Max was, and Alan was there set up as a vendor, and he said back when we were field reps last time, I was positive I was going to outlive Max, but now I'm not so sure.
Yeah,
I say that from Alan because he said it in front of everybody, so he's not shy about it.
Yeah,
but, like you said, Max, he's been there every year at a lot of those events, and if you look back through some of the history of the events, we did the Winter Classic historic episode of back in January, I believe it was, and he did, I think, the first 17 Winter Classics, and a lot of those articles you'll read, Todd or even Steve Fielder allude to Max and talk about him leading the way as far as assignments per year. And I would say, over the course of a lifetime, he's right up there at the top of that list.
Yeah, he's probably got the lowest license number is 165. He's probably got the lowest number that's still active today.
Yeah.
But yeah, hey, Max, thank you for everything that he has done, for all these years and continues to do, I guess, he just doesn't want to quit. He's not going to quit, I don't think.
Right.
Good for him, though.
Absolutely.
Good for him. Done a lot for the sport.
This next one here I'm not as familiar with, I don't know if I've had the pleasure of meeting him, and that's Robert Slinker of Marion, South Carolina. 48 assignments in the past 3 years.
Yeah, Robert. Well, in the Southeast, he's everybody knows who Robert is, and he's done a lot of them. They're again almost 50 assignments. He's just right behind Max there, but has done a whole lot in terms of Master Hounds for the Southeast Carolinas. Yep.
Yeah, and he's 17 in 2021, 25 in 2022, and already 6 this year. So we sure appreciate Robert for all his contributions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Next one here, Jim Cridlin of Jonesville, Virginia, 46 over the past 30 months for Jim Cridlin.
Yeah, you know what I'm going to say? I have to mention Jim Cridlin.
He was a doctor.
And I say this just to have a little fun with him because I've personally talked to him too. Anybody can send letters in here or send a report in here, and if there's one from Jim Cridlin, it doesn't have to have his name on it. I can identify it. I will find that. I will say one thing that he leads the whole herd here. He's going to have the worst handwriting of all our officials. But I say this in good taste for Jim, and we have laughed about this. And I don't know. You would think, he's been around forever. He's had a lot of practice, but it's not working well, I don't think.
Oh, Jim. We have those fillable PDFs online now that you can fill out if you need to. Just type it up. But no, like you say, Jim he's done a lot of them. And I've talked to him a couple times over the past few weeks, and he's
good guy.
Been working on getting some guys in the area with their license to help.
He's not working on his penmanship, though.
I don't think so.
But yeah, we say that all in good fun, but we got to put him at the top of that list for sure.
The next one here, moving on, is John Miranda.
Hey, but thank you, Jim, for everything that he's done. In all seriousness, he has been a staple over there from Virginia and has done so many and still doing it. And that's, hey, thank you, Jim, for everything he's done over the years.
Next one here is John Miranda of Winchester, Ohio. John's done 45 assignments over the past 30 months. 19 in 2021, 19 in 2022, and 7 already so far this year.
Yeah, John's been around for a long time as well, but I was kind of surprised to see him on this list, I guess he's kind of one of those that you don't find out a whole lot of where he's still serving as the Master Hounds, but he obviously is, yeah. I guarantee there's a lot of good hounds over there in his neck of the country, and he's seen a lot of them go through the clubs where he's officiated at, so yeah.
Yep, absolutely. I appreciate John. He's by the book, and he'll call and make sure he got a call right, and I appreciate that.
Yep.
Next one, Kevin Bowles. I would say he's one of the younger ones on this list, of Jeromesville, Ohio. He's done 41 assignments over the past 30 months, 16 in 2021, 21 in 2022, at 4 already this year. He's around the Ashland, Jeromesville, Mount Gilead clubs. You'll see him do a lot of like the Ashland Spring Hunt. You'll see him do any major events at Mount Gilead, and he's probably going to do a lot more in his future. He's sharp. He's a good Master Hounds, and he's still pretty young yet already.
Yep.
Next one here is Charles Smith of North Branch, Michigan. 40 assignments over the past 30 months for Charles. I'm not sure if I guess I've had a chance to talk to Charles a few times over some things. I think is he an officer of the Michigan State Coonhound Association?
I'm not sure if he is currently, but he's served he's been a part of that for a long time, and served a lot of clubs in Michigan over a lot of years here.
Yeah.
He's one of the older guys here as well.
Yeah. And the last
That's what surprises me. I didn't expect to see that many of the older guys still being this active and getting these many assignments. And Charles is one of those.
Yeah. I bet a lot of the younger guys are at least now are being hunt directors so they can compete in the events or at
Yeah.
least guide or judge
Yep.
or whatever they need to do to help out. So,
Yeah. Yep.
rounding out our top 10 here over the past 3 years is James Chandler of Afton, Oklahoma. James for sure was very active in the first couple years. 40 assignments over the past 3 years, 27 in 2021, and 13 in 2022. He hasn't done as much this year. I think he's kind of shifted his focus to the Beagles now, but
He has.
he did a
Yeah.
lot for the Coonhounds. He's still a president of the English Association right now as we speak, and sure appreciate James Chandler and everything he's done. I know he did youth nationals for me a couple years ago when we were down in Miami, so appreciate James. I'd like to mention everybody on the list, but we just don't have that opportunity. So I just real quick while we got a minute, I thought we might just kind of scan over our top list here real quick. 2021, we talked about a lot of them, but you got we talked about a lot of the top performers already. But you got Tim Green in there in the middle with 20 from Burnett, Texas. Floyd Daniels from Shepherd, Texas with 19. Roger Van Bibber from Nebraska had 18. Carl Hall of West Virginia had 18. Good to see a couple of our field reps on here. Jamie Estep with 17 and Doug Cundiff with 16. Leo Galley, Barry Guntle. We mentioned him already, but man, a lot of people that you would expect, running around the events. Philip Heron, Dale Parrish, you see them everywhere, and the numbers don't lie. They tell the truth here. So
Yeah, and it's almost, you almost don't want to mention all of these, that aren't in the top because you forget some others. You don't mention some others that did just as many as. But yeah, there's a lot of them on here. Like you just mentioned, Dale Parrish in Indiana and Ohio. He's one that has done it forever. Bill Harper, just so many. And Wayne Agner. You mentioned. Another one that is currently one of the younger guys that is doing quite a few. Dale Weatherford, always at Grand American, and a lot of guys like that. Philip Heron, you mentioned up in Arkansas, Billy Yoakum, Stephen Miller, and some of them. Mark Bear is doing a whole lot of them, and just a lot of guys like that. And it's, yeah.
There's a lot of them. If you move on to 2022, just mentioning guys that we haven't talked about that were in the top 10 of 2022, we had Billy Yoakum in Lancaster, Kentucky, that did 18 assignments. Jim Freeman, I'm looking at his number here, 97 from Beatrice, Nebraska, with 17. Yeah. And again, Tim Green was 17 there. Man, there's so many good.
Kenwood Maker's another one. He was a field rep out of Texas for a lot of years, and one of the older guys, one of those 3-digit license numbers, I would assume, and still being active there, but yeah.
Yeah, one name I've seen on a couple of these lists, 2021 and 22, is the late Tony Bills, a guy I had a lot of respect for.
Yep.
Did a lot of master hounds and a lot of field trials, a lot of water races. He did whatever anybody needed him to.
Yeah, so many. Floyd Daniels, Mr. Painter in North Carolina, Butch Glass. Just wow, the list just goes on and on. But
to tie up our list here in 2023 of active, we a lot of kind of a new group of names here that we're seeing. Maybe a shift in the guard here in the last year, but. We talked about a few of them already, but we had Candy Pennington of Sheridan, Arkansas with 13. Dave Moreland, Briarfield, Alabama with 12. Mark Vest of Wyndham, Texas, new field rep for us with 11. Wesley Ratcliffe with 11 from Mississippi. Doug Cundiff with 11. Chris Bartlett with 11. So, man, there's a lot of top quality master hounds out there. And no matter if you do one or 98 of them like Bobby McCarty, we appreciate your volunteering and what you do for the sport.
Yep. And I'm tickled to see his name up there like that, for sure. Wouldn't it be fun to have those old guys sitting around here and just picking their brains on a lot of things?
I could listen to them all day.
I could too. Sure could.
All righty. So let's take some time here to talk about our top bench show judges for the past few years as far as assignments go. And the first one here, familiar name. We've already talked about him at length already. Max Summerlin.
Won't quit.
41 assignments already the past 3 years for Max.
And this is just bench show assignments.
My goodness.
Yeah.
So you got him in the top 3 or 4 in Master Hounds, number 1 in bench shows. Our top Master of Hounds was Bobby McCarty. Here he is, number 2 on the bench show list out of Texas with 40 assignments as bench show judge the past 3 years. Next, Jeffrey Robinson. That's a new name. I know he does a lot of judge assignments for bench shows, but he master hounds a lot too. You'll see him on both lists. He's out of Roseboro, North Carolina.
Yeah, Jeffrey is just, we just hadn't mentioned him yet, but he's been very active in the last 10, 15 years, you know, in his part of the country for sure, you know, and very active with the state association, but you know, helping all the clubs down there. Appreciate Jeffrey.
34 assignments for Jeffrey. Next on the list here with 33 assignments is Leanne Lester of Paynesville, West Virginia. She did 15 in 2021, 15 in 2022, and 3 so far this year. So she's been doing a lot for the West Virginia crowd over there.
Yep, looks like she's probably got another dozen on her list for the rest of this year. Yeah, appreciate Leanne.
We talked about John Miranda already from over in Ohio. 21 assignments for him. He's on both lists.
Judging a lot of shows, not just the Master Hounds. He's doing the shows as well.
Here we have Ronnie Whedon of Sparks, Oklahoma. He's did 28 assignments over the past 30 months for Ronnie. I'm not sure if I'm familiar with Ronnie, but
yeah, I am not either. But he's obviously done a lot over there in our western states.
I appreciate you, Ronnie.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, sir. Mike Hayworth, the name you see a lot. He's out of Sedalia, Missouri. 27 assignments for Michael over the past 3 years.
Yeah, Michael has been involved in Coonhounds for a lot of years, showing back when he was younger, and now judging a lot of shows and things like that. He's, like I said, he hunts, you know, and everything else, but he is the long-haired guy from over there in Missouri. He always looks so hot for me, you know, like a warm, you know. I guess I just see him in the summertime, but hey, I used to have some hair hanging on my head too, but it just makes me hot when I see Mike walking around Autumn Oaks, you know, with long hair like that, and think, gosh darn, that's got to be hot.
If you're going to be at our Sedalia, Missouri zone, you'll probably see that hair in action.
Yeah, but I think Mike is, he's probably not as old as some people think he is, but he's been very active for a long time. Good guy too.
Next one we have here is Darren Fackler of Fostoria, Michigan. 26 assignments for Darren over the past few years.
Yeah, he's been very active in the state of Michigan. He's over there in the Thumb area, just above that a little bit, but he's been very active there, does, you know, everything. He's very active in the clubs, be it water races, field trials, and bench shows, and hunts, just does all of that stuff.
Michael Hickman. Next one on here, Oskaloosa, Kansas. 26 assignments. You know, probably not I can think of 2, maybe 3 active clubs in Kansas currently, and he must be judging quite a few of those shows. Must
be, yeah.
Appreciate you, Michael, for all you do. Yep. And then we have Elmer Mullins of Jewel Ridge, Virginia. 26 assignments over the past 30 months. 13 in 2021, 11 in 2022, and 2 so far this year for Elmer.
Yeah. Thank you, Elmer.
All righty, let's go through some of our list for that we didn't talk about for certain years. So we'll start out with 2021 here. With Teddy Wright of Palmyra, Tennessee, had 13 assignments that year. Melissa Houston of Connolly Springs, North Carolina, had 12. Just a bunch of good names on here. I see Manuel Mowry's name on here, like I said earlier. Dale Parrish, Jim Cridlin, Leo Galley, just Gary Simmons, Johnny Cody. There's just a lot of good dog men on here that volunteer their time for clubs in their area. Dog men and women. That's right. In 2022, some key ones we didn't talk about in the total there. The one is the leader for 2022 is Dean Pack, judged 15 shows in 2022. Yeah, he's from Oklahoma over there, very active with clubs over there in that part of the country, Oklahoma and western Missouri and those places. But yeah, he's been around for a good while and still active and still does a lot. Another one that's near the top of this list, Jackie Carpenter. From Ohio. Yeah, going to be judging the World Finals this year. Yeah. She's been getting her practice in, looks like. She has. She's been working at this a long time. Right. Yep, does a good job. Ryan McMurray of Ohio did 12 assignments. She does a lot of youth events. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Brittany Kesey of Homer, Georgia. Sorry if I butchered that, Brittany, but we appreciate you. Did 12 assignments in 2022. And Dale Thompson of Perryville, Missouri, did 12 assignments as well. And this year so far, there's a couple new names on this list, that we haven't seen, but I see them at a lot of shows. Floyd Daniels is tied for first this year in assignments from Texas. Yep. He's doing a lot of events. And then I see Dale Sandell from Illinois, who's also done 11, tied for first there. I see Dale at a lot of events. Got some nice black and tans. Yeah. And he's he's a good show judge.
He's from Pearl City, Illinois, and I don't know that I've ever been to Pearl City except for 3 weeks ago. I drove through Pearl City.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
You finally got to
yeah,
see it, huh?
yeah, and it is a lot of agriculture over there. It was very pretty in that part of the country. I just didn't realize.
This next name here is Celeste Steffs. She's just young. She just got her license not too long ago. She can't be more than 21 or 22 at this point. She's already done 9 assignments this year
And loves it. Obviously,
Absolutely.
you can tell she loves it. She loves showing dogs. She loves and judging.
Yeah.
And good for her. You know, you like people with enthusiasm like Celeste has. Somebody that's young like that, and good for her. We appreciate her. It's good to see younger folks like that coming on, and she's at the top of this mention list here. You know, and I'm glad she is. She loves it, and we appreciate her.
Yeah. You know, one
Keep
cool
doing
thing,
what you're doing. Keep learning, and keep doing a good job, and she'll be at a top of or a lot of other lists too.
Yeah. One cool thing about it is when other Hounds folks out there her age that are, you know, probably grew up showing with her, compete with her, see at her events and hang out with her, they see her name up here and see her judging a lot of these shows. They may be more confident in themselves to get their judge license. So we can get an influx of younger judges out there to help out.
Yep, we need these younger folks to come step in and especially the ones that take a good interest in it, like Celeste. You know, we appreciate that. Those that take the interest, it's folks like them that also they have to put in the extra effort to educate themselves, you know, and become good judges. And if you educate yourself and are good at it, you're going to get these assignments.
Absolutely.
People will start noticing that.
And there's a whole host of them here.
Yep.
Todd with 7, Robert Welch of Greenville, Ohio, Jeremy Bunner of Parkersville, West Virginia. Here's David Moreland again from Alabama, Thomas Murphy of Indiana, Pennsylvania, Leanna Mink of Eubank, Kentucky, and Jim Stennett of Lake Village, Indiana. A lot of good names on there.
Yeah, for sure.
Just kind of rounding it up, you know, I know officiating this events, we don't talk about them enough or give them the recognition they deserve because it's hard. It's hard to travel around and go and stay out all night being a master of hounds and filling out paperwork and it's you don't get hardly any recognition for it. If anything, you have to deal with issues that arise and squash it. But there's no events without the folks that we've mentioned here today. So make sure that you're seeking these people out and thanking them for what they do. And if you're at an event, just be courteous to them, give them a thank you for being there and for volunteering their time.
And it's not always an easy job, especially the master hounds part of it. You know, sometimes you got to, like anything, like you and I deal with a lot, you got to make tough decisions sometimes. And it's not for everybody, you know, but man, some of these, we really appreciate these folks that have done so much for the sport and help serve in that capacity.
Yeah. I wish we could talk about every person on this list at full length, but we're already pushing a time limit here. But a lot of you guys that we talk to all the time and see around at events, you guys know how appreciative we are. And if you don't, then I hope this comes through as that. So
for sure.
Thank you guys again. Thank you for listening to the UKC Hunting Ops Podcast. Be sure to give us a follow so you don't miss any of our new episodes or content.